Hello and welcome to Dolphin Seminars video. Today I would like to speak to you about time wasting. When you employ people and they do whatever they are required to do you know how much time is wasted every single day on the job? Well, just recently I have discovered few very interesting things whilst helping my clients managing the team and coaching. Let's suppose you have an office worker or people who work in your office. Do you know how much time they spend on other things than doing the work? They browse the internet, they download information for themselves privately, and quite often they forget to take this off the history of browsing. So let's make an experiment. Let's say every so often you go and check on the computer of your employee or employees what pages on the web they are searching. Now, if you collate all of that time that they spend on other things than work, let's forget the lunch break, let's forget the coffee breaks, but the time that is spent actually at the desk of the computer, how much time you are actually losing in productivity. Some times ago, I can't really remember the date, but some times ago there was a statistic out where since the smoking was stopped inside the buildings, how much time was lost per day on just smoking. And I remember it used that the database was saying that on average 3 hours a day is lost due to smoking cigarettes. Because when you have to leave the building, obviously depends on the size of the building, but by the time you come back, and let's say you go out 4 times a day, just outside of your normal breaking hours, you go and check how many minutes average smoking take together with the route between the desk and the door and the outside, how much time. So if we take everything into account, we might get something like 50% of the working time is actually wasted. Can you imagine the difference in the results of the business if all that 4 hours were used properly and productively? How well the business would do? I think that's a very, very good question. But let's take a different scenario. How many times have you passed by a building site? And what do you see? Did you have builders in your own house doing work? How much time do they actually spend working? Over the last 2 months, I have been doing quite a lot of traveling between building sites, suppliers, and I noticed a very interesting situation. I normally travel home around 2 o'clock and going through the centre of Manchester, where there is quite a lot of building sites about. If, let's say, I travel around between 2 and 2:30, I notice that quite a few construction workers are going home. But I also know that very often, particularly smaller sites, the workers are there from 7:30 till 4:30, sometimes 6 o'clock in the afternoon. But how much time do they actually work? Imagine 7 o'clock in the morning, some of the suppliers open, and then you've got the guys coming up to the suppliers, picking up materials. They spend around an hour in the suppliers. They come to work, they have a coffee. 10 o'clock, they have a coffee. 12 o'clock, they have 1 hour break. And then at 3 o'clock, they have another coffee break. But the time that is actually productive, so the time that they are actually building, doing the tasks that are needed, is much less. I have seen on some building sites where people come at 7:30, where they should start already on the spot 7:30, so they should be arriving the latest 15 minutes before start. And then the first thing they do is coffee. So 7:30 till about 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock is coffee time, chit chat and so on, or unloading the van with the tools or doing whatever, which is not really productive. So let's say they start at 9 o'clock. 10 o'clock, they sit down, have a coffee, which should last 15 minutes, but often it lasts half an hour, even longer. And then 1 hour lunchtime. And again, in the afternoon, do a bit of work, and then have 15 minutes break, and so on. So, what is the actual time, productive time that we have in the 8 or 9 hours that we are at work? Is it 3 hours? Is it 4? Or is it more? Now, this has a lot to do with responsibility. Because if I am responsible, I will ensure that I adhere to the times that I needed, and I plan materials, I plan several days ahead my schedule of work and what I will be doing. And on the other hand, you've got workers, employees, contractors, subcontractors, who are able to come 7:15, start on site 7:30, ignore the tea break, or make themselves tea or coffee, and they have it whilst they're doing something. Then at 12 o'clock they will go and have a break, sometimes not, depends what they are doing and how important it is to them, and they will carry on until the end of the day. But the other thing I notice also is that some planning that should go on upfront by everyone that is doing a work, a job, is not existing. I noticed one day I was on a site and I was speaking to somebody regarding a job, and a plumber came with a lot of materials, and I noticed that one piece of material is chipped. So I told him that, look, you've got a chipped material, and he wasn't aware. He was just loading it on the van without really checking what he's getting. So, talking about waste of time, he needed to go back to the supplier with that damaged pipe and get another one. And that is another 40 minutes to 1 hour wasted time, unproductive time. And did you notice another thing? That just recently, prices have gone up. The material prices and obviously the labor prices as well. So if you are an employer, what is the cost of your labor? And how productive is your labor force for the money that they are paid? Did you calculate that? Do you know what is the productivity time in your business? That is very, very interesting. If you are in business yourself, you have 95 hours which can be productive per week. How are you using that time? How much time out of this 95 hours is productive, is actually bringing an income to you? That is a very interesting question. Because if you have a passive income, 95 hours is used because you have created passive income. If you don't have passive income, how many hours you are actually spending making an income? If you know the answer to this question, please put below this video. It would be very interesting. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos, please subscribe below this video and click the bell so that you will be notified in the first instance. Otherwise, if you just subscribe, you will be sent notification about our next video. Once again, if you have any questions, if you wish to contact me privately, I will put my email address below this video, or you can send me a private message via Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn, and I will be able to have the pleasure of replying to you or talking to you by phone or Zoom. You can find the contact details on any of the platforms. Thank you again for being with me. I look forward to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.